encourages nothing else just for the sake of the name.
Yeah, that's maybe great in the long term. Looking at us, we actually kind of live this. Is in the short term, we experienced, like we tested temporarily and then we disabled. What we found was this, is when we initially did the adoption of the behind, but even if there was, we make it so that you buy our virtual currency blocks to deal with the credit cards. So people will buy a $20 block of credits, and imagine that gives us 100 credits from our game, not Facebook credits, but our own credits. And they're now locked into our system, they can't trade it back for cash, they're all ours. Whereas instead, if they put that into Facebook credits, they can then just give 2 of those to us. Well, maybe all they really wanted to give was 2 in the first place, but they had to buy 100 from us, and we kind of have them as locked. Whereas now they only spend 2, get what they want, and maybe spend the rest of the firm. And that is sort of the issue that, in the end, I don't know how to achieve it. Yes, theoretically, maybe they want to spend 2 credits on Farmville, and there's way more people who play Farmville, so they may put their $20 in, and they'll then spend the 25 and then come to our game and be like, hey, well, I got this many, so might as well spend 3 more. And they would have normally done that if they didn't have an account. Maybe for them, it just isn't a lot, and everybody is the better or wherever. Or we may find that you have to try to incentivize people to do larger bulk purchases that maybe they can then, maybe you buy like, I don't know, store points in your own game, and you buy them in blocks, and then you can buy, so almost like a third currency introducing something. Yeah, which is what Zynga does right now. You don't buy items from Farmville directly with credits. You buy their virtual currency with credits, so they're still trying to keep that involved. But I think Facebook is drastically going to discourage that, because that's not really the intentions behind credits. It's not to introduce a third currency, which is basically replace them all. And I'm going to guess with Zynga's agreement, I don't think back, they probably have half the phases within the next months, years.
I think it would make independent developers who have their first time game with a huge audience maybe a little more accessible, like so,
yes.
you got my name for the first time, but you're already registered with Facebook credits, you want to buy the Christmas tree in your hand.
I want to extend that one step further. Credits on Facebook are 10 cents, so they're really not that much. Now, this is not gaming, but this is another study I think is kind of cool. Is with Facebook Connect, let's imagine you have a recipe website, and you just search the recipe. Hey, that looks like a great recipe. Well, you look at it, and it's in an online format, and the picture is kind of small scale. And you're like, I'd like to print this. You hit print, and they're like, oh, there's going to be 1 credit. But we format it, it looks beautiful, all this sort of stuff. You go, it's 10 cents. I'll print it for 10 cents.
True microtransaction.
True microtransaction. Exactly. And with gaming, it's still not true microtransaction. It's more virtual goods that happen to have a cost. Yeah. Whereas I believe you're going to have all these other sites where suddenly people go, oh yeah, geez, I can print a recipe off. I can, maybe enlarge or print a photo on Flickr for 30 credits. I can have all my photos printed, and I can use them on Facebook. It's an online picture screen. And I've always got 300 like down because I can also use my phone and tap on my phone. I'm not a big like futuristic kind of guy, but it wouldn't be that insane to assuming you're at a vending machine.
Sure. I think too. Anyone who's listening closely, there's a certain almost very business-mindedness to this whole talk as well. We just talked about buying in blocks. That's a negative thing, possibly for the industry. Sorry, not people buying blocks, and being able to buy individual things, which should be, I don't know, something we should be championing in many ways. Because in my opinion, that's better for the end user. The ability to give the rights back to the user to say, you know what, you don't have to purchase these large installments for our particular game. You can actually just use your Facebook credits to spend a little bit in this game, a little bit in that game, rather than being like, I spent, it's like getting a gift card that you didn't want. You were able to buy, I got a gift card for Mark's Work Warehouse. No offense to Mark's Warehouse, but now I don't buy anything that year. So I bought like a pair of socks, and then I was just like, there's like $5 left on this gift card. And I was like, I don't know what else to do with it. So you end up spending the rest of it there, which is great for Mark's Work Warehouse. And the current model is great for these games and great for developers because they rely on that cash because the actual number of people that pay in these games is incredibly low. Incredibly low. Yeah, lower than you would ever imagine.
And so, that just opens up an opportunity for an idea that just popped in my head 3 minutes ago, which was to get out of the software business, this unprofitable thing, and go into virtual currency arbitrage. Where you can where I can buy Facebook credits for whatever social network credits and go back and forth, take a little skim off the top. There we go. Who's winning?
I'm with you.
Who wants to do that?
I like money, so I'm with you. So yeah, but I think that on Greg's points earlier that they might only spend 2 credits in my game and for everything else in Farmville. Really, that power is to you. Because if you guys are just going to make your game stickier and better than Farmville, and they would come and spend the money on your game. So I think, to me, my opinion is that let them spend 10, 15 cents if they can, because I will convince them to spend 20, 30, 40 bucks.
Ultimately, the smaller you are, the more advantageous. So for Zynga, they're the worst position because they're going to get the money anyways, and they're probably going to be the most likely to bring new users in and spend credits. Us, yeah, we bring new users in as well. However, we're not as big as Zynga, so we have more to gain. And an absolute new player getting in goes, hey, whatever, someone happens to have 10 credits and we're turning 2, they don't have to get the credit. So the smaller you are, the more advantage.
So we're moving to the area, so it's really good for like indie startup developers, I think.
So if we look at some of this business, what are some of the challenges that the social media, Facebook, whatever we define it as right now, that you guys see that we have to, is coming up? And there's going to be maybe not, there's not this golden road ahead for us. There's some really big challenges coming. And I know Greg has some opinions on this.
I don't think it's a matter of I don't think it's a matter of what's coming up. I believe it's a matter of what's being for the last 9 months. And the Facebook platform, for all intents and purposes, over the last 9 months, it's not been bad, but it's just sort of being, right? I mean, Zynga's growth has actually been negative. There's the total DAU across the businesses are pretty stagnant. And obviously, Facebook as a platform is not looking only 2 months ahead. They're looking 10 years ahead. And they don't really care that growth is stagnated. And in the end, obviously, there's a motivation for them to keep going. But at the same time, you can't really rely on a third party you have to rely on the third party, but you can't rely on their long-term strategy to find your short-term burn rate. And if you only have the money to survive 6 months, the strategy goes on 3 years, and they don't plan on modifying the platform for 3 years to be more advantageous to smaller companies, you can't really build a business around that.
Is it a platform problem then? That Facebook's not going fast enough?
Well, because Facebook can turn some dials. Assume they've got big wheels they can turn. And they're like virality up, right? And feeds up. And it's one of those things that with some switch changes, they can overnight make games more viral, all those sorts of things, and they can also reverse it. And what they really do is they're not anti-virality. At the same time, they're totally pro-user experience. And there just happens to be a conflict between the two. Because their users often fall into one camps. Love games, despise games. And I'm sure if you poll the audience, you'll find that half people will see a game that's in there, like I couldn't care less than my Aunt Joan has Flower Farm. I mean, I don't care about that stuff whatsoever. Just show me stuff I actually care about. And that's sort of the difficulty. Whereas some people actually play games want to see nothing but fees from their friends. So what they're really trying to do is tailor, and they're trying to refine it. They'll often make a misstep, and virality will go way down, or they'll make a misstep, not only be constant, virality will go way up. And that may be for 2 weeks, it may be for 2 months, it may be for 2 hours.
So the challenge is the constantly changing climate.
Yeah, you're dependent on a third party. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And the third party has different priorities. Right? It's a risk. Granted, at the same time, it's a street platform. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I wouldn't feel confident starting business on Facebook right now in its current state. Only because it's not a sweet kind of business. There's been better times, and I mean, it's like buying and selling stock. I wouldn't buy stock.